Hi everyone, we are Anna and Rhea, and today we will be discussing the affordable housing crisis in Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is an especially relevant topic due to the overarching affordable housing crisis in the United States, its proximity to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and its personal importance to us. This is an important issue to address because it affects more areas than just Fayetteville.
3, 2, 1. So now I'm going to be going over some of the contributing factors to the housing shortage in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The first one being price increases, the second one being the strong military presence, the third one being low home availability, and the fourth one being the 2021 market boom. The first is price increase. The values of real estate in Fayetteville have substantially increased in recent years, especially following the COVID-19 global pandemic. A 2020 survey estimated that Fayetteville is in the top 5 hottest real estate markets in the entire United States, an unlikely statistic. This has led to a steep increase of real estate value, which has effectively prevented low-income families from obtaining housing. The second reason is a strong military presence. Fayetteville is home to Fort Bragg, one of the biggest operational Army bases in the United States. Military households have shorter rental periods than other homes due to the frequent relocation that comes with the occupation. This means that houses come on and off markets much more frequently, which then causes an increase in housing demand and the displacement of non-military locals. The third reason is low home availability. Around 90% of homes in Fayetteville have sold within their first month on the market in the year of 2020 to 2021. This is an extremely fast rate and much faster than the national average. The quick turnover has excluded low-income families and resulted in a lack of unit available for affordable housing subsidies. The final reason is the accumulation of reasons 1, 2, and 3, the 2021 market boom. Currently, Fayetteville has a pending to supply ratio of 5 to 1. This means that for every one home available, there are around 5 people competing to buy that home. Since sellers select the highest offer they receive, low-income families get priced out of the real estate market. The Fayetteville Planning Commission has recently released their goal plan for the year 2040. There are 3 main goals in the comprehensive plan. First is revitalizing neighborhoods. Revitalizing neighborhoods entails reinvestment into neighborhoods experiencing economic decline. The second goal is prioritizing open space, which aims to expand the construction of green area like public parks and the downtown region. The third goal is increasing walkability, which involves the expansion of accessible public transportation and decreasing car dependency. While these 3 goals are very good, there is no explicit mention of expanding affordable housing units or revisiting zoning allowances that prevent multi-residential housing, despite the issue of affordable housing crisis that exists in Fayetteville. This shows that the issue is going unaddressed by the Fayetteville Planning Commission, which validates it as a significant social problem. Now, you may be asking yourself, why should we even care about affordable housing in Fayetteville? It doesn't seem like a relevant city anyways. Well, in the United States, affordable and secure housing is one of the most effective channels for low-income populations to access upward mobility. Once secure and safe affordable housing is obtained, it is shown that there is an increased consistent participation in the local workforce as well as more capital in circulation. This economic stimulation increases the productivity of the entire city, meaning there is a larger monetary output. In addition, affordable housing is the first stepping stone towards individual wealth accumulation, as real estate is a major investment. As buyers inhabit and own their homes, they accumulate net worth and investment. Thus, Over a long period of time, affordable housing increases the standard of living for low-income communities.
So, what do we know about these issues and its causes? It is first very important to note that a 2022 study showed that Fayetteville is the fastest growing city in North Carolina and one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country. This is particularly interesting since Fayetteville is not mentioned among cities such as New York, Los Angeles, or even Nashville when it comes to growth. Rent increases have become a key factor in this housing crisis. The price of rent in Fayetteville has increased over 10% since 2020 and is consistently rising as there becomes more of a demand for housing. And it is not showing that this increase is going to stop anytime soon. The price of buying a home has also greatly increased. These prices have risen over 20% since 2020 and are consistently rising as well, and they also do not show signs of stopping. Fayetteville households are at an income disadvantage. The average household income in the city is around $45,000, which is $16,000 lower than the North Carolina average and much lower than the national average. This is a key factor because while housing prices are going up, income is not proportionally increasing with those prices. Fayetteville is now having rent and housing prices similar to major cities without the household incomes to fully back them up. Fort Bragg has also made a major impact on this crisis, as Rhea previously mentioned. Military families tend to rent at a more rapid rate. This means that they are often not looking for long-term housing and tend to rent on average of 2 to 4 years. This leaves low-income families who do not have the possibility to purchase homes at a disadvantage due to rental properties being picked up at a very rapid rate. This rapid turnaround and high demand thus increases the price per square foot. However, military families are typically able to compete with those prices due to the government assistance and housing allowances that they receive. This then fuels the market and its rising prices. More and more military families are choosing to opt for off-base housing, even though there are housing accommodations on the military base for them. They prefer to separate their work and personal lives, which is another contributing factor to the crisis. COVID-19 is another key factor in this issue. During the height of the pandemic, and even since it has slowed down, more people are choosing to work from home. This leads them to wanting to expand the space that they live in and work in, and find new housing. Their search for bigger homes in better areas fuels the market. The market has now turned into a seller's market, meaning that sellers are at a disadvantage, which forces buyers to compete and get less bang for their buck. This is a key contributor in the rising prices of housing. It is now even harder to find more affordable housing options due to this rapid market change. Many often wonder, why does this problem persist? In fact, this is not the first time the city has had to deal with a crisis of this nature. There was a similar crisis in the 1940s. However, instead of addressing and solving the problem, city officials allowed lobbyists to advocate for more private housing instead of public housing, and their agendas pushed through. Thus, the problem persisted and grew even greater throughout the years. There is also a high demand for public housing, but not enough inventory to meet those demands. This goes back to the past affordable housing issues not being addressed, which still impact citizens today. Applicants for affordable housing can spend months or even years on a wait list for that affordable housing, and in turn are forced to spend either too much money on their housing, live in less than ideal home environments, or in some cases, resort to homelessness. When people need immediate housing, that is not a viable plan for providing much needed affordable housing.
Anna just talked about why the issue persists in Fayetteville specifically. Now, I am going to talk about the broader issues that set the context for the Fayetteville housing crisis in the United States. The first explanation is single-family zoning law. Zoning law determines what types of land use are permitted in certain areas. In the South specifically, multi-residential zoning ordinances are scarce. Thus, affordable housing units cannot be built, which means the lack of affordable housing available cannot be satisfied. The second reason is a lack of funding and political support for housing choice voucher programs. HCVPs are government-funded subsidies given to qualifying low-income families to be used to rent housing. However, the program is underfunded and incredibly difficult to access. Laws on access vary state to state, which makes obtaining housing a confusing and overwhelming process for many. The third reason is a lack of landlord forgiveness to low-income communities. Low-income families experience high eviction rates, which results in an instability and the continuation of the cycle of seeking affordable housing. The final and biggest reason is a lack of education and financial resources available to low-income buyers. A majority of buyers seeking affordable housing units do not have a background in real estate or financial literacy. Some do not even know programs like the Housing Choice Voucher Program even exist and are given no opportunity to educate themselves on how to best approach the housing market. Rather, homes are sold to those who have the resources to learn how to operate within the market, which further causes affordable housing inequality.
Thank you so much for listening to what we had to say about the affordable housing crisis in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Here is a brief look at the sources we use, and we hope that you will use this information to further dive into affordable housing crises throughout the United States and even in your own local communities.